say. I run my own way to get there. Pulls a coin and the eyes seem to care. In the air, no more crowd, just the opposite kind of few clouds. So tell me this time is coming for the sake of all your lies. Why don't you try to be why? Now that I need you, why?
Hello, and welcome to the Honor Ramble. We are just getting right into it. We have a special guest.
Well, not that special.
Well, you're special to me, so
okay.
Because Auntie said, you've been here before, so without further ado, it is Ed to the show. You warned me. You warned me that there are food things.
Well, I mean, I agree with Kimmy more often than I agree with you, so it's obviously
wow.
we're going to have at some point during the show.
The truth comes out. The truth comes out. We got STG in the chat. Hello.
It's funny that STG knows my full initials, and I think it's a mistype, but he actually has my full initials in there.
Wait, you have a G middle name? That's so cool.
Yep. I'm Edward George Fries. My father was George Edward Fries. My mother wanted a junior. My dad didn't. So the compromise was to flip-flop.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Look at that.
It was a typo, but I was like, it's just kind of funny.
You're basically a sorcerer, STG. You're one of those, what was it, crystal ball people? Psychic? There we go. Sorry, I forgot. What is an Edward French fries?
I am part French Canadian, so
wow.
For what it's worth. I don't talk about it here because we have all the Canadians here, and I don't want
to boo Canada, boo.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get kicked off. Bye everybody. Bye.
And then we never saw Auntie again.
I'm gonna boo Canada because it is my you are all of Canada, STG. Okay. By
the way, STG, your idol Bret Hart has a brand new interview with, friend of the channel, Justin from the Wrestling Classic, so definitely go and check that out.
Oh shoot. I'm gonna go watch that. All right, I'll leave now. Bye. I do want to start off this episode saying I didn't really post about it on Twitter, but Joe Koff passing away from a really terrible illness. Knowing what he brought to Ring of Honor, knowing that he's the reason why Ring of Honor went to television. I got a television deal. He's the reason why the Ring of Honor legacy is what it is. He is such highly regarded in this space. So I did want to take the time to say rest in peace to Joe Koff, and my regards to his family. Whatever that piece matters, it matters to us. So
yeah, Joe Koff was, I mean, he took Ring of Honor from this underground tape trade kind of promotion. And even though it was on Sinclair and it was hard to watch for a lot of people, he brought it to that next level.
Yeah.
The Elite brought it to the next level, but he was part of bringing that core together to have the Adam Coles, the Kyle O'Reillys, the Kingdom, the Young Bucks, the Elite, bringing in Kevin Steen and people like that. He's kind of that force that you didn't always hear about all the time.
Right.
You don't always hear people talk about Joe Koff, but those that grew up watching Ring of Honor, you know, in that Sinclair days, he was such a vital part of the promotion we loved, without having to be as hands-on as a lot of other people were with the promotion.
I think that's something that I've really liked about Ring of Honor, is that we hear all the time about how public people behind the scenes were in TNA and obviously in WWE. But with Ring of Honor, it's really been behind the scenes and who has stepped into truly build it to what it is. And I was one of those kids that I had to pirate videos online to get access to something that I just wanted. I met Nigel this weekend at his own magic show, which I was part of the finale, if you didn't know, which is insane. But at the end, when I was having my little words with him, I told him that I used to pirate and I used to torrent his matches in Ring of Honor specifically because there was nothing on television that could offer that kind of thing. And knowing that Joe Koff definitely brought that era out of it and into syndication and more access to people, even just worldwide, is just absolutely incredible. And he will definitely be missed. I did not realize he's basically the same age as my father, which makes me like, have emotion about that, but definitely wanted to highlight that today. So
absolutely. I'm surprised they only did it at the end of the show and they didn't have something to start the show with.
Right. I agree.
Like, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, like, normally you would see something at the beginning of the show. You might play a video package. Considering you played Ladder Wars, I figured we might have a mention before or after Ladder
right.
Wars.
I don't know. I think because some of the show was taped literally last night. Maybe they didn't have time with everything with Wrestle Dream. I'm not sure. But I'm hoping that maybe next week they have like here's a bunch of Ring of Honor stars or AEW stars that, worked with Joe Koff, all the things. Just
there's a litany list of them there. So you can have access to anybody you need.
So many. I mean, literally. So just Adam Cole just coming back is monumental for me, but yeah.
And MJF for some reason running away.
Right.
Still, like I'm sitting here and I was having a discussion with Astrid about it, on the night at Wrestle Dream, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense to my mind that MJF would run, and I'm like, I understand he's the coward, I understand he's
right,
but I'm like, Adam Cole as the Devil cost him his world championship. Adam Cole was the one person he let in to be his friend that ended up hurting him.
Right.
I'm like, shouldn't he want to tear Adam Cole apart? Why was he running?
We'll never know. Probably because he dissed his now ex-girlfriend so publicly. I don't know.
I mean, a lot of people have dissed both of their ex-girlfriends publicly.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of ex-girlfriends, Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor, yes. Before we get there, I've been threatening this all week, and I do want to bring it up to you. I was hoping Kimmy would be here to talk about this. The PWI 250 came out, the women's 250. Our world champion, our Ring of Honor women's world champion, Athena, was literally disgraced in that by being put at 10.
At 10.
Like, I understand she doesn't have as flashy a character as Timeless Toni Storm. I have no problem with Toni being 1.
Right.
I have no problem with Rhea being 3.
Right.
I don't know enough about Micah to say whether or not she belongs at 4 or not.
Right.
However, Athena belongs at either 2 or 5 if you're going to leave those alone.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying you have to move Rhea up. I would move Rhea up to 2. But Athena needs to be top 2, top 5 at minimum.
What, considering she basically held together the Ring of Honor division.
During the entire campaign period that this exists, she was the Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Toni Storm didn't hold that title the entire time. Rhea didn't hold it there. Jordynne Grace didn't hold it there. Mariah May is at 9 above Athena, which again, I love Mariah May. I'm not complaining that Mariah May is in the top 10. I just don't think she belongs above Athena.
I agree. But I think here's the thing. I think everyone who is on the list deserves to be on the list.
Absolutely. I just think we need to move it around a little bit. But
I definitely think there are some people in the top 10 that could have easily just been number 1, easily been number 2.
For STG, we'll give you the full list. I don't know if you have it up. I do for the first time.
I do. Yep.
Yeah. So it's Toni Storm at 1, Jordynne Grace at 2, Rhea Ripley at 3, Micah from Stardom at 4, Stephanie Vakir at number 5, Sari from now Marigold, but formerly Stardom, at 6, Bayley at 7, Willow Nightingale at 8, Mariah May at 9, and Athena at 10. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with that list.
Right. But Willow, I'm pretty sure, started not like as champion. She started the list.
I think she was TBS champion during most of this. Yeah.
Okay. I had heard that Mercedes missed the match quota by 1 match. There were other wrestlers who were injured as well, did not appear, which is fine. Knowing that Charlotte is not on the list is weird.
But again, she hasn't wrestled a ton during the evaluation period. That makes
agreed.
sense. The ones outside the top 10 that I remember, I know Roxanne is 11, Liv is 12, Becky's in the top 15, and so is Julia. So it's not like we're sitting here. Like, there's nothing wrong with this list. Like I said, I think Athena needs to be top 5. Stephanie could go down a few. I think Jordynne Grace could be as high as go as low as 7 or 8.
Yeah.
I think it could move Willow up. I think Mariah May should be 10. I don't have a problem with her where she is at 9, but with this list.
I mean, to answer STG in here, this is where the list gets a little bit weird for me. It's because we're supposed to be basing this on matches and match quality and everything. And I feel like the match quality that Toni has had, is it 1? Not sure. Is her character number 1 that makes these matches great? Absolutely. But there have been some Toni Storm stinkers. No fault of her own, maybe just her opponent. But I definitely don't think at the caliber, if we're just looking at matches, just looking at wrestling matches, I would not have Toni as number 1. I definitely think it was she is the package. But if we're looking at a wrestler and the quality of matches that they're having, would I have put Toni Storm number 1? I don't know. But I'm also biased to Ring of Honor talent.
Like I said, I have no problem with Toni being number 1. I would have probably moved Rhea up a bit to number 2.
To 2, yeah.
But at the same time, I could see Athena being number 2. I could see Rhea being 3. Like, it's literally we're complaining about a point or two in either direction for any of these superstars.
Absolutely.
With the exception of Athena, who needs to go up about 5 or 6.
But like Roxanne Perez being 11 is crazy to me because the quality of matches that she's been bringing on NXT week after week after week is insane. She's been elevating people who are nobodies to me, that nobody's on the indie scene, and she's been making quality matches, really holding her own. No, seeing that Iwatani, sorry, excuse me, that she's so far down, number 14. I think that Masha Slamovich has had a far better year, far better quality matches. I don't know. It's interesting who picks this, who is on the board, if we'll ever find out, but I don't know.
It's for the first time, I feel like it's funny that nobody's complaining about the names in the top 10
right.
like we normally do. Normally, it's like, this person doesn't belong here. And this year, it's a lot of people going, this is a good top 10. Now, can we rearrange it a little bit to satisfy,
right.
our chosen thing? And I think, like you said with STG, with Tony being number 1, the kayfabe of Toni Storm and the character that she portrays, it belongs at number 1. Her character imbues into these matches. I'm just surprised that she had enough matches to make the match quota.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because I don't remember that, because I don't watch on a week-to-week basis AEW. I don't remember her having, more than 10 or 15 matches.
I will Venmo someone $5 if you can tell me how many matches each person in the top 10 had. Because I want to know, how many matches did Toni Storm have in this time period? How many did Jordynne Grace have? How many did Rhea Ripley have? Because I remember that Jordynne Grace was out for a while because of contract stuff. So where are we starting the list? Where are we ending?
But I still feel like
my Seahawks hoodie just came in the mail. It is in the washer right now. I'm washing it so I can wear it tomorrow for Seahawks Fridays. It's wet.
Ripley, I know she doesn't. She was out for an extended period of time, and she hasn't wrestled a bunch on TV lately. But you got to remember, during the late part of last year and the early part of this year, when she was on that run as Women's World Champion, that she would have been doing matches 2 or 3 nights a week on house shows. She was part of the most dominant storyline on Raw for a majority of that time, with her story with Dominic and leading the Judgment Day.
Absolutely.
Like, even though she may not have had, and she probably had more matches than most on this list, other than maybe Bayley.
Maybe Bayley, yeah. Because Bayley, the moment that she came back from her injury, it seemed like every week she was in some sort of tag match, some sort of singles match, some sort of something, and that it's a pretty good list. I would love to do a full analysis breakdown of like the top 50.
That'd be fun. I'd be in for that. I mean, obviously, I'm not the right person to talk to about that. With people,
we can have a panel.
With people like Mel and people like Astrid, they're far more knowledgeable about women's wrestling than I do. I just thought with this list coming out and Athena being so far down, I'm like, Kimmy.
Mel, Hollywood Astrid. We love to see it. But I mean,
I feel like there's something in the making. This whole Astrid, Mel thing. I feel like there could be a show there.
I don't know. I got to figure out a name for it. I'm not very creative when I'm burnt out, man.
Just put it in the Discord and see if anybody else.
Man, I'll be honest. I mean, we always are honest about our mental health. I've been feeling that like corporate burnout lately. Where like, it's not that I hate my job. My day job is like, I love my day job. It's fine. But it's that like, it's the routine that's starting to like wear on me where I'm just like, can I just like do time out? Time out, everyone freeze. Let me sleep for like 8 days straight. That sounds like a vacation to some people, but like, I don't know. I'd want someone to not have to like need me. And it's hard for me to like disconnect from my work right now because I am the most senior person right now, other than my boss. So like a lot of the additional tasks stay in my brain, and I'm having like dreams about work, which is crazy. So
yeah, when you start having dreams of work, it's always a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm starting to go, okay, should I just like start my vacation early? The amount of calls and texts, inability for me to disconnect is real. I don't know how people disconnect without substances. Like that's also a thing for me, is like that's how I used to disconnect from the world, is using, right? And I haven't used illegal things in like 8 years. This got real deep real fast. More than 8 years. It's been like nine. But like I used to drink alcohol all the time. So now it's like 2021 is when I was like continuously drinking, where now it's just for celebration, and I'm not like, I don't feel like I need it. But going from like, oh, I used to do everything to disconnect, to literally take the power cord out of my brain. But how do people do it? How do people completely disconnect? I don't know.
Video games. Believe it or not, video games is a great way to just disconnect from everything. Turn that piece.
STG. Listen. I'm drinking a Diet Coke, a crispy Diet Coke.
Crispy.
I love a crispy, like the crispy with an R, like crispy Diet Coke from McDonald's because it's the best. But I tried the chicken Big Mac. And let me tell you, I don't think I remember ever having a Big Mac before.
It's overrated. I worked at McDonald's for 10 years. It's overrated.
A chicken Big Mac is like, it's better, but I just took all the bread off of it.
I'm telling you, the hidden menu at McDonald's is far better than anything on the actual.
Hello, Sir Bobby.
The Terror
Daddy
Lord
Bobby
is here. The Terror Lord.
Okay, but like Big Mac sauce is like good, but I was like, I would just want to dip the chicken in it. And I was like, oh, but like, what if I cut up the chicken? And then I realized that's just chicken nuggets.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, it's better than chicken nuggets. But
it is better. Right, it's fine. But the chicken Big Mac, it lives up to the hype, but I don't like the bread, so I took all the bread off.
Which really defeats the purpose of getting the Big Mac, because
I know.
The bread.
Did America get the big arch at McDonald's? What are you talking about?
No, we didn't. You guys also had the double Big Mac, which was weird. So
double Big Mac.
Yeah, at one point there was a Canadian sandwich called the Double Big. You'd be surprised the things that were available overseas. You used to be able to get alcohol at some of the European McDonald's.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I worked for the company for 10 years. You'd be surprised the fucking weird ass shit that happens overseas at McDonald's.
I'm being told that I need to look on Twitch.
Yeah, I think you're getting a picture of the Big Arch. SG, I worked at a variety of different McDonald's for 10 years. Massachusetts, Wisconsin.
This looks good.
Probably. Everything looks good until you eat it.
My God. That's so many. Oh my gosh. The sodium is 1,900 milligrams of sodium?
Sounds about right.
God.
Bobby says it's so expensive for what it is. Would you like some sodium with your burger?
Oh my God.
Yep, the big arch. Definitely a thing that happens.
You could basically just have your daily caloric intake with the sandwich, French fries, and whatever drink you get.
Yeah. That's what Super Side Me was about.
I'm stressed. I'm stressed. I get McDonald's so infrequently, but you like your salt.
You're fine, SGG. Don't worry about links. You're okay. We know what you're posting.
I like
we
it.
trust you at least.
It's fine. Yeah, we actually trust you. Unless you send us something.
Until we don't trust you. Until you do something to break our trust, you're fine.
Yeah.
SGG says, moving on up to the east side. Moving on up to a deluxe apartment in the sky.
What?
The Jeffersons. The theme song from the Jeffersons. George and Weezy.
I've never watched it.
It was a spinoff from All in the Family. 1960s, 1970s television. Goodbye. I think that would probably have been big 80s by the time that came out.
Let me tell you about VeggieTales. I can tell you all about VeggieTales. But you know what? I also can tell you about. I can tell you about Ring of Honor.
Well, we had Mark Briscoe cutting a promo to start the show.
Episode 86. Can you believe 86 episodes? Which is.
But it was titled as episode 85.
It was.
On the Watch website, if you watch it on watchroh.com, it's actually episode 85.
So there's 2 episode 85s on there. That is hilarious. Wow. Yeah. So we
yes, Bobby. That's what happens when you take the 23-year-old co-host and you substitute her for the 40-year-old co-host who watches old television with his older parents. Like, yes, I'm going to start confusing her because I'm not Kimmy.
Yeah, I'm confused. I'm such a young and hip 36-year-old teenager. So
40 plus 15.
I felt like this promo was very poetic. And did you watch the Wrestle Dreams?
No, I've seen a lot of the things that have happened, and I've caught a lot of the stuff coming out of it, but I did not watch the Wrestle Dreams.
I didn't watch his match. I was gonna try and watch the match because the match was right before the main event, and I could not believe that they pushed his match, Mark Briscoe's match with Jericho, to the pre-main event, so they're co-main eventing or whatever the hell people are saying. Mm-hmm. So I went, fuck this. And I got up out of my seat.
I'm sure a lot of people got up out of your seat.
Yeah, a lot of people got up. I was like, oh, because I was sitting in the media section. So I'm around a lot of media who are like looking around at other people, like literally getting up and leaving. But I went out and I was in a line for the bathroom, which was fine. And then I went and I got one more beverage. I think that was like, I needed to be drinking water, grabbing a water. And then I was at the counter and the lady goes, do you just want some fries? And I was like, yeah, I'll take some fries, thinking I was going to, be spending like another $8 or whatever. And she goes, there you go. And I go, how do I pay? She goes, nobody want them. And we have to close down the kitchen. And I'm like, okay, I'll take the fries. Yeah. So I was like talking with them and then I hear ding, ding, ding. And I was like, oh, the match is over. Okay, let me tell you this. I'll tell you about the merch situation. So you can actually go to Shop AEW, whatever they posted on Instagram, because they posted everything that they had. My issue was it is really easy to get lost in the Tacoma Dome, right? It is so confusing, and they've charped off so many sections, right? Because you usually can go around, right? It's a dome, it's the giant titty of Tacoma. But because there was so much production stuff and there isn't any space, they like literally blocked off sections. So there was like taped up signs that says like, it was like section like I'm trying to remember. It was like section like 110 through 100 is blocked off, and also like section 13 is also blocked off. And I'm like, what the heck are they doing? And then like certain stairs weren't working, and like there were people in wheelchairs who weren't able to like use the correct lift, so that they were having to go all the way around the dome to get on the stairs or the elevator to like go down to their floor seats. It was a hot mess. And it was like chaotic, and they let us in late, which made everything else seem absolutely ridiculous. But one of the merch areas that we went to was like a condensed merch area, and they had like eight different shirts, but they were all like the Wrestle Dream shirts. And then they had like this special Bryan Danielson stuff, and they had so many signed figures, so many signed posters. It was an array of different items. So it wasn't just all shirts or jackets or sweatshirts or whatever, but they had a lot of those kinds of things. But if you're looking for merch for specifically the people who were in the show, there wasn't stuff like that. It was just, hey, I went to Wrestle Dream, I was there. Or, hey, Bryan Danielson's last match, or, Bryan Danielson, hero of Washington State. Like, they had those things. They had like one Will Ospreay shirt, and that was about it. But that was my experience. Oh, they had scarves too, which I know that some people like wearing the scarves, but
it just seems funny that the t-shirt company can't get their together.
But I was like, why are you like printing? Like, is it really that difficult to be like, hey, we just hired all these new artists. Look at all of these new art things that they've done. Look at how great this new art is. We're not using AI. No. Let me print out a bunch of new things. No, they had none of that. So I saw a girl with that new Hangman shirt, the one where he's all like skeleton-like, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to be able to get that here. No. But I did buy a Wrestle Dream shirt, so.
Because you got to spend some money.
I got to spend something to be like, I remember that. And it's not a black shirt.
Ooh.
I know. So I'll have to wear it next week.
A non-black wrestling shirt? Is that even
I know. Crazy. I remember Mirsa?
Miss Young Bucks. What's her name? Dana.
Oh, Miss Young Bucks, yes.
I think that's her name. Wasn't it Dana?
Yeah, I think her name is Dana.
I think that.
Yeah.
But it's Matt's wife. She was the one who was doing. Like, I understood when it was her doing it. Like, she's used to doing, you give orders, we send stuff. Like, that's what she was used to. So I understand when she then went to that. But you figured with all of these smart business people who have been in the business for all this time, for Tony Khan, who runs a fucking football team, both English football and American football, that you'd have suppliers to get you merch so that you can sell merch at your shows. Like, there's no reason AEW, it's a new company. That's fine. They run two sport franchises. There's no excuse for not having merch at your shows.
But like, when I go to a WWE show and I know that Rhea Ripley's going to be there, I know that Roman Reigns is rumored to be there. I know that they have 800 million different versions of Cody Rhodes' freaking symbol. I know that when I show up there, yeah, they'll have like whatever the show I was there. That's cool, commemorative item. But I know if I'm going to go to a show for a specific wrestler who is billed, that there's actually going to be something something, or even like a Wrestle Dream poster, limited edition. Print up a bunch of those things, right?
Yeah. There's so many things you could do to sell merch that you can't not get it right. If independent wrestlers at indie shows can manage to sell their merch at a successful rate, how can you?
So,
you have the most successful independent wrestlers on God's green earth under your umbrella. Between
absolutely.
the Young Bucks, between all these guys who work for old ROH, all these guys who are part of AEW, who essentially were the 2020 indie crew.
Right.
Like, these guys know how to sell merch and move merch. You're telling me you can't get 10 of them in a room to explain to 1 hour tees that we need 500 shirts? Like, you only have 3,000 people in your building. You're telling me you can't get 500 of 5 different designs?
I mean, to be fair, I know that there was a crowd of over 8,000, which is incredible for Wrestle Dream.
I'm being facetious.
But I'm saying, like, they don't need to print that many shirts for each person, right? That
no.
Some people don't buy things. But what I know from retail and I know from merch sales and doing merch is that you want your single person to walk away spending $100. That's your goal. How do you get to 100? Buying more than one item. It's not that hard.
WWE will sell you anything under the fucking sun to make you spend money at their shows.
Oh, I'll get a keychain that's, $6. I'll get, all these stickers, sticker packs, $20. $15 here. They add up. That's how you get people who go, oh, I want the foam finger. I want the this. I want the whatever. That's how you get them.
Yep.
But
also, we're playing on an hour show. We're already 40 minutes in, and we have.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll get through it. It's fine.
Well, I just know you were like, we're shooting for an hour today.
No, okay, I wanted to shoot for an hour because I do need to pack up the car, and because Auntie is busy. I have other things, and I got to go watch some dogs. So
there you go.
It's fine. There we go. Making my life even crazier. But I'd rather drive over there tonight rather than going at 4 a.m. tomorrow. So, ramble and tangents. All right, but we do jump right into the show with a Mark Briscoe promo. Briscoe talking about his Wrestle Dream match, and for Jericho to keep his name at his family's name out of his mouth, which honestly makes sense because Chris Jericho never really knew Jay. He's psycho. And he would fight him at any time, which is exactly what we want to see our champion do.
We prefer to see him fighting him anytime on Ring of Honor, but we'll talk about that more later.
We'll talk
about that later.
But our first opening match is the Spanish Announce Project of Angelico and Serpentico versus Derek Dillinger and Ren Jones. Ed, what did you think of this match? An opening match.
It was fine, but there was a lot of little non-crisp moments, I would say, between these four. They didn't have good chemistry. They didn't flow really well. Like they all looked good. They did some cool stuff. Derek Dillinger is a big old boy. With Ren Jones here, but it was what it was. I feel like it took too long to do the thing it needed to do. You need to make Serpentico and Angelico look good. You did, but you did it in what felt like 7 minutes when you probably could have done it in 4.
We could have done it in 3. That was part of my notes, is that this match could have been 3 minutes because all we're doing here is, okay, we have Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. Sammy Guevara's off television, but they are our current ROH tag team champions. We now need to, if he's going to be off television and we're not going to take the title off of Sammy Guevara, we need to build tag teams. How do we do that? giving them reps, having them appear on your show. And it's like an email that could, or it's like a meeting that could have been an email, right?
Yep.
That's how I felt.
My thing with a lot of this show is I would have rather just seen Ring of Honor talent fighting Ring of Honor talent as opposed to, I know it's the ROH way, and it's always been the ROH way. You go to a town, you bring in young talent from the area.
But one or two, come on.
I didn't need to see both Ren Jones and Derek Dillinger here, Brian Cook later on, and then I was very, very happy to see Ricky back. Kevin Owens' friend Ricky was back, and I was so excited to see, because I was sitting here going, this is all the battle taping, so I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to see Kevin Owens' friend Ricky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have a funny mention about Brian Cook. I don't like him.
Okay.
Because he wrestles locally, and he has said some nasty things to me on Twitter that I called him out for. And
so he's your my Mercedes Monet.
She said mean things about you?
No, she was just mean to me when I met her twice.
I've met her twice, and
I've met her twice, and I've never had a good meeting with her.
Oh my god, I'm
hoping to get press for this Fighting Spirit show in Lowell.
Yeah,
I'm assuming they're going to put her on that card, and I can fix that by having a media president with her. So she'll have to be nice to me.
She has to be nice.
Have a nice Mercedes story.
But yeah, every interaction that I've had with him, and he talks shit about me online, and I called him out on it while I was intoxicated in 2020. Because I was working a show, and I was like, you called me. He said, I can't even remember. It was like something about calling me incompetent and super green and had nothing of value to say. And I was like, well, you have nothing of value to wrestle. So, okay. STG, we're not shit talking Mercedes. She's not even on the show.
No, Mercedes is great. I love Mercedes, the wrestler. I have a problem with Mercedes, the person.
As a person, we're talking about that. So, Mercedes is. I also don't want the Mercedes super fans to come after me.
No, exactly. I don't like when the crew comes after me. I tried to because when they were talking about her on the cover of the game, I was like, no, I don't need Mercedes, Sasha Banks
Monet,
on the cover of my video game. And everybody came after me. The whole crew was like, how dare you? And I'm like, oh God, I made a mistake. Delete tweet.
But it's also the thing of I love Mercedes when she's a heel, and I love when she's nasty. Yeah. I prefer her in WWE, but I love her anywhere. But I don't love her to being blind to what's going on. Me knowing things from backstage is fun to hear. But speaking of backstage, we have Rachel Elbering in an interview in the back. She says she wants to step up in Ring of Honor. And who is to interrupt her again is Harley Cameron, who had a great match until the ending for Wrestle Dream. Harley Cameron felt that her and Rachel Elbering got off on the wrong foot. She's trying to amends, which we all see right through. We see the passive aggressive insults, and then she pulled her in for a hug, and I thought that she was going to pants her or do something, but put a sign that says "kick me,"
My whole thing was this: did you notice how uncomfortable Lexi was?
Yeah.
It was like Lexi was interviewing, standing next to Chelsea Green as opposed to Harley Cameron. She had this oh my God, you smell so bad, stink face look on her face as the three of them are getting pulled together for this hug. And I'm like, Why did we do this?
Why did we do this? This is unnecessary. We get it. There is this tension that we're building. You can tell a story without having to like repeat the same thing that happened over and over and over again, because that's very WWE to me. Is WWE tells their story by repeating it in a different way, which helps their audience. Ow, as I'm hitting things. Yeah. But I don't need this. We don't need this. But what I did need was the next match.
All right. I love both of the competitors in this match. But if I never hear Yuka Sakazaki's theme ever again, it'll be too soon. I love it. I'm an anime guy. Like I love Dragon Ball Z, and her theme song is seemingly Dragon Ball Z as it gets. But my God, I can't. It drove me fucking batty during that theme. And I'm like, just make it stop. Let her wrestle.
Oh my gosh. I thought you would love Makito.
Like I said, I love Yuka Sakazaki. She's a fantastic wrestler. This match was great. This match was fantastic. It was honestly my second favorite match of the entire card.
I loved it. So Yuka Sakazaki was facing the returning Viva Van, which they just need to sign her.
Yeah.
They need to sign her. What did you think of this match? And I'll tell you what I think.
I love this. I love the character that Viva Van plays, where we know she's probably not going to win, but she gets a lot of offense in. She has this really snarky, hot girl heel kind of gimmick. But at the same time, no, they haven't. She's working with New Japan and Stardom a lot. And she's working with like the New Japan Strong women a lot. But she's not technically signed to either New Japan or to AEW yet. And it's a goddamn shit.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it really is crazy. I love where Viva Van does the run-up like she's going to clothesline her. And she gets Yuka gets the hands up, so she stops. And then Yuka pulls the hands out and she slaps her.
Loved that.
And then they repeat the spot with Yuka on top, and I'm like, that's great. I love this. This is great.
Absolutely. I thought that there were a couple times that they did a spot and then repeated it by the other person doing it, which was so good. The crowd was loving it. I really liked how Viva Van is so athletic, like deceptively athletic. So she gets out of a 3 count and just like rises up, and then they return the spot and it's Yuka rising up. The crowd seemed to be in it, and then something happened like halfway through. I don't know if the crowd was looking at something else, but it was like all the air got sucked out in the middle of the match, which I was like, what just happened? This crowd does not deserve this, because nothing was going on my screen that was like suck out worthy. So I was like, did they cut something from the match? It just seems so awkward. And then the ending happened and everyone was cheering, but I was like, what happened? Something happened.
And the funny thing is like they were like, commentary was putting over, oh, Viva's knocked out, Viva's out, and then she kicks out, and then the next thing is the finish. And I'm like, well, why didn't we just do the whole that you knocked her out the first time and just pin her there? Like, it was a cool enough move the first time.
Right.
I didn't need the little splash. Like, the little splash was great. It's cool. But I'm like, but no, I love both these girls. I want to see more of both of these girls. I want Yuka to have no music, but it's fine. I'll see more of either one of them anytime on my television screen.
I also want to highlight that Viva Van does this like spinning back kick that looked disgusting, and I loved it. And I don't know why. I have never seen this iteration of it on someone before, but also like all these fellas who think that they can do spinning back kicks, they should learn something from watching Viva Van, because it was so crisp that I didn't even notice like if there was a leg hit or anything. Like, it was just so good. I loved it.
Yuka can sell her ass off. She's this perfect little itty bitty, especially for Viva, a little bit of a bigger girl who can kind of chuck her around and do all that. It was a perfect matchup for these two. I loved it.
Absolutely. So after this match, Yuka got the win. We have footage of Brian Cage versus Atlantis Jr. from Wrestle Dream. We know that Brian Cage took it at the end. He is your new Ring of Honor TV champion. He
AEW TV champion, right?
Oh my God, get out. Leave, get out. Leave. Goodbye, Ed. No. I forgot that you're also producing. I was like, wait, I didn't press it. Oh no.
No, I can do it. It's fine.
Oh my gosh. That scared me.
The only thing I have, like, this is a good promo from Brian Cage, believe it or not.
I know.
Like, for a guy who doesn't often cut really good promos, I really like this promo.
I haven't liked Brian Cage up to this point, and then he gets the title, and I'm like, okay, I like him. Like,
well, that's just because Atlantis Jr. doesn't have it anymore. And I'm so happy. I'm like, we don't see Atlantis Jr. no more. No, guess what? We'll see.
Yeah, guess what? We see him again, and we're gonna see him on AEW television. But
I know
the age of Cage is upon us, which I think is so freaking clever. Absolutely excited to see someone who actually shows up on Ring of Honor television, holding a Ring of Honor title, which is awesome.
Oh, Bobby.
Yeah.
For those that don't know what Bobby's talking about, in November they've been given the opportunity with there's a library up there in Saskatchewan that they're going to be able to get artifacts from Saskatchewan wrestling history, and they're doing a trip through the territories, and they're talking specifically about the Saskatchewan Road, so the Saskatchewan region's history in professional wrestling. So him and Papa Smokes are doing a live in person with a live crowd, Ring Respect Radio, in November. With that, it's going to be simulcasted on the OLA platforms. It's going to be a lot of work, a lot of fun for them. So we're very excited for them to get that opportunity. So he's putting a lot of work into this.
What the heck? I want to go. I don't want to go to Saskatchewan in November.
I was going to say, you don't want to go to Saskatchewan.
I just show up to the airport and be like, the weather is a little bit cold here. I'm gonna go. I would just be in a blanket burrito the entire time. That is so awesome. Nobody
wants to be in Saskatchewan, period, let alone in November.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh. Well, my least favorite person, Brian Cook, versus one of my favorite people I know, Nick Wayne, with his mother, Shayna Wayne. I love that commentary. Mentioned his father being the late great Buddy Wayne, and they had to clarify like Christian Cage is not actually his father.
When you know that your two audiences aren't the same audience, and you have to clarify Nick Cage's Christian Cage is my father t-shirt with his mother standing behind him. Like, is that not more an indictment on this product than anything else in history? That had to explain that storyline from AEW that's been going on for over a year. And you have to explain it to the Ring of Honor crew because you know they won't know.
I'm pretty sure the Venn diagram of people who watch AEW television and the people who watch Ring of Honor television is a circle.
You would think, but apparently AEW doesn't think so. Or else you would. If that was truly believed, why would you do this then? There's no point for Ian to do this if you honestly believe that. So obviously, our AEW doesn't believe that some of their ROH fan base watches AEW. Now, granted, the ROH fan base has to watch AEW because that's how you see 90% of your champions.
people who are allegedly exclusively signed to Ring of Honor.
Yeah. If
My
nothing
gosh.
else, I know I can make Auntie laugh. I might not be able
I love
to
it.
bring the knowledge, but I know I can crack Auntie up.
Oh my gosh. Well, this match
I actually like this match. I was just saying I like this match. It was actually good.
This match wasn't terrible. I know that I don't know if both. So Brian Cook also has a brother. So I don't know if either Cook bro have been against Nick Wayne, because Nick Wayne is obviously from the Pacific Northwest. I saw Nick Wayne's second match ever. I looked on the cage match. He had one other match, and it was like a closed door match. So I technically watched the first ever publicized match when he was only 15 years old and didn't fit in his little chonies, in his little gear. His little Hanes underwear was like poking out, and I was like, oh, that's so adorable. Look at him. Gear doesn't even fit him. He's so little. His little string bean legs. And they were like, yeah, he's 15. And I'm like, what the heck is a 15-year-old in this match? And what do you know? The boy is an adult. He's 19 now, filling out.
Now, is the reason they bring up Billy Starks because they're like close friends or something? Like, is that because like Nick, like Ian kept talking about Nick and how they're like, you know, oh, they're these young kids who don't get it and they're being mean and evil, and I'm like, why are we mentioning that? Like, I get, okay, it connects the Ring of Honor audience to this person, but like there has to be a recentality to it. And like they were both on the independent scene at the same time, so I'm like, maybe they must be close friends or something like that.
They're more than close friends.
Oh. Is this the one time that Auntie knows a couple that I don't?
Yeah. I don't know if they're still together. I knew that they were together basically, I think a year ago or so. But they were just having matches after matches after matches, and
I am not series of matches together.
I am not the Scooperelli over here. No.
She's just getting back to her house after working with Swerve Scott.
But I know that they are very close. So, but I think that Nick Wayne's wrestling style has definitely improved from the rookie to definitely learning stuff from Christian Cage, and you can see that the way that he's powering through some of these matches. He does get a busted lip during this match, which is I just love blood or color during a match at all times, even against an enhancement talent. But I'm gonna be excited when Nick Wayne drops the Wayne's World and starts doing a Unpretty or something, or you know, maybe doing Kill Switch. I don't know, but doing some sort of finisher that Christian Cage does, because why not? Like father, like son.
Yeah, well,
that's me, Scooperelli. It
was fun. This is my first time ever seeing Nick Wayne. Like I said, I don't often watch AEW, so I've never actually seen a Nick Wayne match. I really like this. I think he's got an interesting style. I love the fact that he pretends to do the whole Captain Charisma Christian thing every chance he gets, which is nice.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I think Christian's the perfect guy to pair somebody like him up with. I'd be interested to see what kind of career, like, again, you know, newbie look. I'm sure AEW fans can tell me the exact charisma that he has, but I'm like, I'd like to see what kind of charisma he has in an interview. I'd like to see what he could do against talent who are actually at his level, because Lord knows this guy, poor Brian Cook was not at his level, and commentary was having more fun making cooking jokes,
yeah,
than anything else in this match. And I'm like, all right, if even Ian isn't taking this shit seriously, I know this is a match I don't have to pay too much attention to. Okay, that's fine.
That's fine. Well, so we have the return to our lovely screens of Ricky Gibson and Eddie Pearl of the Midnight Heat, which they used to be called 4 minutes to no, hold on. Now
is it 4 minutes to midnight? It was something like that. It's some midnight joke.
Yeah.
Now is he one of the Gibsons? Like, is he one of them, or is he just happen to be a wrestling guy with the last name Gibson?
I just think he's a wrestling guy with the last name Gibson.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Like, there's a history of fantastic wrestlers with the last name Gibson. So I was like, is he one of them, or is this just...
I don't know. I would have to ask Mr. Ricky Gibson. But...
I was very happy to see him actually get to wrestle this time, as opposed to getting stunnered by KO when Randy Orton came back. But this was fun. I wish this would have gone on longer. I wish it.
4 minutes of
MXM.
heat. 4 minutes of heat. Thank you.
You'd hope to be in heat for longer than 4 minutes, but I guess it's all right.
One of my favorite 4 minutes of heat matches was my first ever commentary debut, and Kimberly and Su Yung were their opponents, and there was butt stuff during the match, so you can fill in the
one of those people is great, one of those people is awful,
is a piece of shit.
I'll let you people choose which.
Yeah, used to be my friend.
To figure it out. It's not hard to choose, but
one of them used to be my friend. One of them I used to hang out with all the time.
I really hope it was Su Yung. No, okay. No,
I wish it was Su Yung. I saw Su Yung recently out of her makeup.
Yeah.
And she goes, "You look so familiar." And I was like, "Yeah, you look familiar too." And then I turned and I was like, "Was that Su Yung?" Because I never want to be like, "Hi, I'm Collins. You're Su Yung. We used to hang out all the time."
Yeah.
But it was like, "Is that Su Yung?" And I had to ask someone. I was like, "That's Su Yung, right?" And they were like, "Yeah." It's like, she does look different after having like a child. Like, people do look different after having children. But like, out of her makeup, I was like, I didn't even freaking acknowledge. But I thought, and I went up to her and I was like, while she was putting on her makeup, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And she goes, "I was doing a bit." And then I realized.
I realized that you didn't know who I was. You didn't know exactly who I was.
You didn't know who I was. I've only hung out with you, had your aunt's, noodles. That's not a euphemism. I literally went and had dinner. It was fun.
And that's how I felt the first time I saw Sonata. I went to an ROH show when they had the Japanese tour, and they had all the LIJ guys in. And the show's about to go on.
Oh my gosh.
The meet and greets are just finishing. And so I see three people that I obviously recognize. And one who I'm like, I think I know who that is. So it was Evil, Naito, and Bushi walking past me. And there was a fourth guy, really tall, thin, lanky guy with them. But he had this like long hair down to his shoulders. And I'm like, he looks like, but his hair's not, but he looks like. It was Sonata. But he didn't have the hair spiked. He just had
hair
it
up.
down. And I didn't recognize, I'm like, it's Sonata, but it might not be Sonata. It might just be somebody with LIJ.
It might not be him. And then I go, "Oh my God." Like, I don't want to be racist and be like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be like, "Oh, are you this person?" And then like,
when it's four members of LIJ, like, you feel like you've got the chance to just go for it, because it's like, you see Bushi with the mask, you see Evil,
right?
You get this Evil, and Naito's in this fucking crisp ass white suit with a white vest, and he's Tetsuya Naito. You don't miss that man when he walks into a room.
Absolutely.
So you could probably guess that the other guy was Sonata. But I didn't choose to do it.
But you don't want to guess, because if you guess,
you could be wrong.
You
Our
could
good
be
friend
wrong.
Logan James, we were talking to him a bunch on the Taking Over show. He says, "What your opinions of the PWI women's rankings for the 250? Go back when you get a chance. Go back to the beginning of the show on the YouTube side. at about the 20-minute mark, we talk about it. Basically, long story short, we both love the 10 people who are on the list. We think that the order is a bit off in a couple places, and that Athena is being criminally underranked in that list, considering she was a ROH Women's Champion for the entire phase of that, the year that they count from October 1st of 2023 to September 30th of 2024. She was the women's Ring of Honor World Champion that whole time, and somehow only managed to make 10.
Ridiculous.
Midnight Heat versus MXM.
Yes. This match could have been funnier. Could have been campier. If they had more time, they could have camped it up, and I would have been eating all the crumbs. But it did exactly what it needed to do. MXM is another tag team that is going to be vying for those tag titles. And here we are. Ricky got some good cheers. But other than that,
yeah, it did what it needed to do. MXM wins. They do their thing in 4.5
tips were touched.
Minutes. Yeah, they touched tips, and the other guys grabbed the tips, and they didn't like it. They did all the MXM things, which is fine. But again, this is some place where I would have, as much as I love Midnight Heat and I want Midnight Heat on this show, I would have much preferred the Infantry, Shane Taylor Promotions. Maybe this was a match where you have MXM taking on SAP. Like, there's a million and one options that you could have done here. You have the Kingdom, because the Kingdom was at Wrestle Dream, if I remember correctly. They wrestled the Conglomeration, didn't they? So you have the Kingdom here. You could have run the Kingdom versus MXM. Like, I wish they would make Ring of Honor matches mean something. Because I feel like you could sell this whole $9.99 thing if these matches weren't local talent versus Ring of Honor star. Because even the Ring of Honor old shows where you tape 4 nights and 4 shows in one place, they only had like 1, maybe 2 jobber matches or local enhancement talents. And then you had storytelling for the rest of the show with talent that was part of Ring of Honor. And so far, we had Viva Van versus Yuka Sakazaki as really the only match where that really did anything. I don't mind enhancement talent, especially our local enhancement talent, because it's great because they do. So these matches are typically what WWE call a dark match, where you would go on before the show starts and you would do all these matches for the live crowd, so you get all these local talent there pop, but you don't necessarily have to put them on TV. And then you bring out, the actual talent to do the show. But like I said, I like Midnight Heat. They're great. I like MXM. I think they're a gold mine if Tony does the right things with them. And God, with the tag teams you have in this division, you have a gold mine with MXM. With as many serious teams as you have. But nope. And then we get the next. Yeah, and then we get the next match. Jake Cartwheel versus AR Fox. One guy who I love AR Fox. He's so good.
Jack Cartwheel coming back, hometown hero. I don't know. He just got like a very warm welcome back. He looks like he's slimmed down a little bit. So he's been hitting the gym, getting more lean, which is great. I think that these two were evenly matched. I feel like it was just looking in a mirror and seeing a different version of each other. Same person, different font kind of thing. It was rightfully timed, so it wasn't too long. But I don't know. We have a lot. There wasn't much to talk about here. It was just, okay, we're doing flippy shit. This is cool. who are we getting you ready for? Are we getting you ready for Hologram? Are we getting you ready for Ricochet? Are we getting you ready for Will Ospreay? Like, what are we doing here?
AR Fox takes on Ricochet on Collision this week, I believe.
Correct. He takes on Ricochet, which I know that whole story is a brewing. I like the idea of getting Will Ospreay and Ricochet away from Takesha, but because let me tell you, did I squeal from happiness seeing Takesha win? Absolutely. Yes. Everything about it.
That match, that triple threat is not my cup of tea. It's not. It's
right.
Not. I'm not the guy who likes the let's all stand and no-sell everybody's moves and do all this. Like, I love the acrobatics that they can pull off, and I give them all the credit in the world for everything they do. They are as talented as the day is long, all three of them. There is nothing wrong with any of them in the type of match they have. There is a core group of people that love that match. I'm not one of them.
That's fine. It's for me.
But I love Takeshita. I love Takeshita. I think he's great. I think Ospreay needs to go after that world championship. It's about damn time he goes back to that world championship picture. I think Ricochet versus Takeshita, I think, could be fun. I think Ricochet trying to run the Callis family could be a lot of fun, especially with Brian Cage in there now. You have Brian Cage, you have Kyle Fletcher, you have Takeshita. I think that there's a lot of things you can do with Ricochet in that group, where it's three different types of dudes.
Yeah.
You know, Takeshita's one type of badass. Kyle Fletcher is a completely different badass. And then Brian Cage is just big, meaty man.
I love it. We go into a match with Atlantis Jr. versus John Cruz, who John Cruz got an entrance. He didn't get pyro, but he got an entrance. And I
was very excited to see his name.
Yeah, right?
No, he's from the area, isn't he?
John Cruz?
Doesn't he wrestle locally in Seattle, or is that not? Like, I know he's from Puerto Rico, they said, or he's Puerto Rican, which is why he was yelling at Atlantis Jr. in Spanish during this match and teasing him. But I feel like he's a Northwestern kind of guy. No, am I wrong about that? Okay.
I don't think
They seem to love him. The crowd seems to
love him. He had been up here a few months ago for SOS Pro Wrestling. So he's been around, but to my knowledge, he doesn't live here.
Oh, okay.
So that is to my knowledge. He could have moved here, but you never know. But we have seen Serpentico. We now see John Cruz. The trifecta would have been to see Bendejo, and then we would have the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. But we didn't see that.
No. We did get to see the Father, Son, Holy Spirit thing from later on. And I believe it's the next. Yeah, it's the next match.
It's the next match. But Atlantis Jr. is back on our television. I'm not impressed. I don't care. John Cruz, I like him showing his stuff, strutting a little bit. I like seeing a personality from him, but we know his job and he does the job. So Atlantis Jr. gets a win so that he can be on, what did they say, Rampage this week? So
because of course we need more Ring of Honor people on AEW television.
All right.
And we wonder why people confuse our champions for AEW champions.
Our next match is for a shot at the ROH TV Championship. We have Willie Mack returning, which hell yeah, versus Commander, which like about time that he's like back around these parts. There was a moment on commentary where because Willie Mack calls himself the Chocolate Juggalo, and Ian Riccaboni is talking about how he's friends with juggalos.
Now, is Willie Mack is the chocolate gigolo, not juggalo, correct?
What? I I think it's the chocolate gigolo, but commentary was putting over juggalos.
Juggalos, yes. Because he's friends with what? Like Shaggy Two Dope and the guys from the IC, which is the whole juggalo. You know
about juggalos?
I watched WWE in the 90s and also know about Shaggy Two Dope.
That's true. That's true.
They were literally wrestlers on my TV screen at one point.
Oh my God. That was my first gateway into it. And then my first boyfriend in college, we went to a Halloween party, right? Mm-hmm. I was in a love triangle. There was this guy, he's very weird. But I was in love with this girl, and we were going as Britney Spears and Kevin Federline. So I was Kevin Federline. And
that's not where I thought that was going, but okay.
But the guy that I was in this love triangle with dressed like a juggalo, like with like Diet Fago and everything, and was spraying it everywhere. So like every girl's makeup is just like running in this house party, and we're all pissed off because now we're sticky and our makeup is running. And I went from looking like like I sold drugs to everything running and like pooling around my neck. So I just looked like I had like a perma 5 o'clock shadow. Like it was just,
which would work if you weren't Kevin Federline.
I mean, I looked like I was in like the Oliver Twist. You know, like they're just constantly dirty.
Do you have any morsels?
Oh my gosh! But I had
Stevie would never have understood. By the way,
yeah, she would have never understood. I don't think she understands Britney Spears and Kevin Federline, but
she might understand that. I mean, it is all stuff from before she was born. But.
That's true. But I remember that at the time, Britney and Kevin had like their like, I don't know, it was called like Chaotic, or it was like a version of a reality show on TV, and people thought it was so strange. And I watched every episode to analyze it because that's what you do, right? You're just a dumb kid who.
I was so fucking jealous of Federline.
Yeah.
You gotta remember, I'm a 40-year-old man, so I was in high school when Britney started. So obviously, she was high on that list at the time. So once Federline gets around, you're like, oh.
Yeah. And
that's why he was such a great heel in WWE for me, because I just wanted to see people beat the fuck out of him.
I forgot that he wrestled until someone I think it was Cultaholic, did like a celebrities that you forgot did wrestling. And I was like, oh my God. And he was trash.
Yeah. He wrestled John Cena. He wrestled John Cena. I want to say it was the New Year's Eve episode of Raw or something like that. It was either a December or a January thing. Yes, he's the dude. That's what we were talking about. With the dude because Collins had to role play as Kevin Federline.
Yeah, it was Kevin Federline.
Love triangle.
Listen, I was in a love triangle, and that's the only way I could pick up women. It's to cosplay.
I feel like you can pick up women. I feel like you can pick up women just as easily without having to cosplay as Kevin Federline. Because again,
I can do that now.
Douchebag. You probably could have done it then too.
As a bisexual, it is always easy to date a guy. Like whenever people would be like, "Oh, I can't find a boyfriend. And I'm like, you just have to think like guys. Like boobs, butt. There you go. There you go.
Oh, here's an easy thing for women having trouble finding a guy to date. Find a guy that you talk to more than once a week.
Yeah.
Ask him if you're interested in him. Ask him if he understands that you're interested in him. The answer will most likely be no, because we don't notice it.
They don't notice nothing.
Because we just assume all women are being our friends. When we assume the other thing, we're always told we're wrong.
Right.
So we just stop assuming the other thing.
You stop looking for it.
Yeah.
But I always have a hard time because like guys are easy for me to attract, right? I can bag any dude, whatever. But with women, I have to like be strategic and be like, I'm not being a friend. I think you're great. And then I get all finger gunny.
You're that meme where you go, you saw that TikTok meme where you're like, you're bisexual, right? And you go,
Yeah.
So you date guys, and you date girls.
No, I can't talk to women.
Yeah.
I can't. They're just too pretty. I'm getting red.
Every time I see you now, I'm just going to see that TikTok meme.
I can't talk to women, but I'm sure I could figure it out if I had to, but
SGG really is great guy who's super bottom line. And they kind of sweep us clear. No. They don't assume that we're going to know. We just don't pick up on things because we're sick and tired of being told to stop picking up on hints that don't exist. So then we stop picking up on hints altogether, and then we're yelled at for being told that we're not paying enough attention. It's
Absolutely. But speaking of no,
all of this goes back to the gigolo, Mr. Willie Mack.
There was titty twisting. We haven't even gotten to the titty twisting.
We haven't even gotten to the beginning of the match. We're just talking about him being a gigolo versus a juggalo.
There was titty twisting. There was slapping of chests. There was everything that you would expect for a big guy to be against Commander. It was so good. I love a good titty twisting moment. I do. But Willie Mack did the whole thing of going, okay, I'm twice the size of this motherfucker. So I'm going to make sure that he cannot do flippy shit, right? That's what Commander is known for basically doing tight ropes. Tight rope?
Tight rope.
Tight rope?
Yes, not typewriter, tight.
I don't know what I just said. For walking on the top rope, right? So I thought Willie Mack did a great job of making sure the Commander stayed on the ground for a majority of the match. Which wasn't as exciting. I think the crowd was wanting the flippy dippy shit. But the titty twister, it was just for me. And some people thought it was awkward online. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
Oh, it was great. The only thing I say about this match, the only negative downfall I have, and I loved all of this, is that I kind of wish Willie Mack took this as a number one contenders match a little bit more seriously.
Right.
Like, I love everything he did if this were a match that didn't have the number one contender for Brian Cage along.
Right.
But
that's a good point.
Like, and again, that's kind of just a me thing. Like, I love the big guy, little guy dynamic. I love the fact that Willie Mack's not taking him seriously because he's little guy. I get all that. But it's just like, oh, it's a number one contenders match, Willie. I feel like you haven't been here in a while because they seem to be hyping up the return of Willie Mack. I'm like, I really wish you would have taken it just a little bit more seriously.
I agree.
And poor Alex Abrahantes, he's only got one guy left to work
with.
That's Commander. Now that the other two boys are locked in contract hell for the next 9 months.
Yeah, no thanks. But all in all, Commander takes it in the end. He's the number one contender for
which he should be, by the way. I don't need to see Brian Cage versus Willie Mack right now. That's a match I want to see. I just don't want to see it as
I don't want to see it now.
First big feud.
I agree. So after this match, we take it to Chris Jericho, and I don't care about anything that he said. They're going to have a ladder war, whatever. Speaking of ladder wars.
Oh, God. Speaking of Collins loving blood for no reason. Ladder
Did you watch the 2018 Final Battle?
Yeah, this is. I was going to say, I've seen this pay-per-view. I love this match. I adore ladder war. I think it's 7.
So I got to watch this, I think, for the 5th time now, because it is one of those bloody matches that you're like, oh, you want to see blood that's not in the WWE? Let me show you something that is so ridiculous that it works. So to set the scene, we have an ROH Classic match. Last week, we talked about Danielson versus Kenta. I read my live journal. It was great. It was basically a romanticism of the foreign heel versus the babyface. Little did I know that Bryan Danielson would retire. from full. Don't make me cry. It was already emotional for me. Anyways, but now we have. I'm getting the sense of a theme here with these classic matches, that it is hearkening to whatever is kind of going on in the WrestleSphere, which I do appreciate, because it actually sounds like they have a point to it. But we have the Briscoes versus SoCal, SCU, SoCal Uncensored, which is the version of Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky versus
Daniels.
Oh, Daniels was in it.
This is Daniels. This is Scorpio isn't even part of the group yet. This is still.
Oh, this was before 2019.
This is TNA version of SoCal
this is
Uncensored.
of SoCal Uncensored. Okay. Because I thought I saw Scorpio Sky, but then again, I was going, I'm going to watch this for fun. Also, the Young Bucks, and everyone is cheering the Young Bucks. And this is like prime height of babyface Young Bucks. If you want to watch BTE during this time period, during the 2018, before AEW was announced, because AEW wasn't announced until a couple months later. This match was unnecessarily bloody, but in the right ways.
The third team here is the Briscoes. We hadn't mentioned that yet.
Oh, wait, did I not mention the Briscoes?
I don't know if you mentioned them first and I just forgot, but yes.
I mentioned the Briscoes.
Okay. Yeah, I love this thing. But I love the way that they portray this on commentary with Colt Cabana and Caprice Coleman and Ian, which I think is honestly funny that we go from Ian and Caprice to Ian and Caprice.
Absolutely.
But I love the idea that they're like, look, the Briscoes are taking this opportunity of ladder war to be able to do all the things that they want to do that they can't do in a normal match. Mm-hmm. So they're using ladder war to do this, and they're introducing every weapon they can to bloody up people and to beat people up. And I'm like, that makes sense.
SCU was Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. Thank you very much.
No, SCU was, but this was SoCal Uncensored with Chris Daniels.
No, it was not. It's Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky.
Hold on. Ladder Wars 7.
I knew my eyes weren't deceiving me, even though bald people sometimes can look the same.
Hold on. Is it Frankie Kazarian? Well, I know it's Frankie Kazarian, but who else is it?
When we know it's Frankie Kazarian.
Well, yes. So we can agree. My YouTube's apparently giving me an ad as opposed to. Oh, that is Scorpio Sky.
I told you, motherfucker!
I think it might be. I don't know. I can't figure it out.
I told you, but he's not a.
They're not important. They're not important. I would say the only member of SCU that's even remotely important in this match is.
But the thing is, they're the champions. But like Scorpio Sky does not become a factor at all during this match, and everyone gets some sort of bloody that it's hard to tell. So I get it. But this ladder war is an absolute classic. If you're going to have a match that is hearkening to a previous match that Mark Briscoe has been in, you're going to want to go back to this match. There's so much to love during this match. I really missed Jay Briscoe, like so much. He was such a pivotal moment during this match. There was a couple spots on the ladder, in fact, and that led to going the opponent going onto, I can't remember which Young Buck, went outside, literally just pushed off a ladder onto a bunch of tables. Excellent spots. Everything, even though it had the element of danger, was really safe. It was really safe. The Briscoes obviously had the advantage of having 4 up to this point of ladder matches. They are violent, they are bloody, and Jay goes up to the top, grabs those titles, and they are the new Ring of Honor World Champions for they said How many times have they had it? 10 times?
I think this is the 10. I think this is number 10.
This is the 10 times, and they've had him a couple more times. I want to. It makes me want to cry.
This is a fantastic match. This is one of my favorite ROH matches. I absolutely adore this. This is a special time in Ring of Honor when you have these groups in this tag team division going nonstop. It's nice to see the Young Bucks being the Young Bucks again, doing the Young Bucks stuff as opposed to
I know
doing the corporate bullshit Bucks that we get now.
Corporate bullshit Bucks.
But no, like there's a point where Matt Jackson has the sledgehammer and they're like, oh, Jay's begging off, and Jay's like, and then they cut to Jay and Jay's like, come on, hit me.
Yeah, hit me. Let's go. Violence. Yes.
And Ian's like, oh, I guess he's not. I'm like, no, Ian, he's fucking not. He's fucking Jay Briscoe. He's not going to back off at anybody. What the hell are you talking about?
The times that I've seen the Briscoes live, it has been that level of, yeah, hit me. Yeah, throw tacks at me. Yeah, slams a door on his head and it literally bursts. And you're like, shards of the door are going everywhere. And it's just Jay Briscoe while the dust settles being like, yeah, bring it on. And you're like, this is violent. This is insane. This is exactly what I love.
I almost got knocked over by Mark Briscoe and being a 500-pound dude. It's really hard for me to beat Mark. So Mark Briscoe did a run-in it was a match that Jay was tagging with Bully. This is during the Bully Ray Briscoe.
Okay, the Bully Ray three-man tag.
So they were having a match against, I think it was LIJ. I think it was at that same show. And Briscoe does a run-in. Mark does a run-in, and he's not supposed to be there. So he comes in like through the crowd, and I'm second row because this is Lowell, Mass, and ROH was kings of Lowell, Mass. So I'm sitting right on the end, and I'm about to get up because the match looks like it's getting to its conclusion, and then all of a sudden this guy comes past me at like 20 miles an hour, and it's Mark Briscoe, and he bumps into me, and then after he does his run-in, he comes back to that same spot, and he comes up to me. He's like, "Hey brother, you okay?" I'm like, I'm fine. You didn't knock me over. But it was hilarious that he came back to check on me after he did his run-in. Oh, I love Mark. I love the Briscoes. They are so good. There's just so many wonderful moments in Ring of Honor with these two. They were there from day one. They were there until the dying day. They never left. They are Ring of Honor. So it's nice to see Jay carrying that. It's nice to see Mark carrying that banner for Jay. Because I think everything Mark's doing would have been Jay Briscoe had Jay been taken from him. I don't want to say that Mark's doing it so they're doing what they wanted to do with Jay Briscoe, with Mark Briscoe, because he's still here. And that's not selling Mark short. Mark's a fantastic talent. But he's not in the same stratosphere as his brother. His brother was something special, and they have their own views, and they've been, cancel cultured and up and down, and they're chicken farmers from an area of the country that has a viewpoint, and they've since apologized and been accepted by members of that community, and you either take them or you leave them, and you decide whether or not you believe that they take back the things that they said. And a lot of people have, because they're wonderful. They seem to be wonderful people who want to do great things in this business. And it's great to see Jay back on a television screen, even if it's in an old school match. I just wish this wouldn't have been right before the main event.
Absolutely.
Like you guys keep talking about every week. I want these matches in the middle of the show.
Yeah.
Or I want this as a thing that happens after you do Honor Club. Like you'd be like, stay tuned after Honor Club. Stay tuned. And at the very end of the show, we have Ian say, we're going to kick it to an old school Ring of Honor match that's going to run as part of Ring of Honor this week. And then you let that match happen on its own so people can choose to watch or choose not to. So they don't miss the next match. Because as much as I love this match, I would have much preferred to have not had to rewatch it if I didn't have to.
I almost forgot that there was a main event after this, and I almost turned it off.
I hear you on that. I would have. I was surprised when I remembered that Athena and Lady Frost still had a match.
And I don't want Chris Faithful to hear me, so if he's still on here, I love Lady Frost. Lady Frost is my favorite women's wrestler.
And she's all right. She's really good. She's not my favorite, but she's quality.
But I think that this match brought in so, like, the main event itself could have been anywhere on the show. But after, like, oh wow, what a good memory about all this blood and my heart is bumping and all these things. And then we're going to, like, the current product makes me feel like I need to scrape my eyeballs out and
not only
file
is it
my toenails, you know?
Not only is it the current product, but we have Lexi Nair on a fucking dog leash with handcuffs because we're worried about Abaddon. And then, again, this match is fine. Like, Lady Frost versus...
Right. It was not a
fine.
bad match.
No, it's okay. It's fine. But then they play Abaddon's music, and for some reason, they can't leave through the crowd. So they have to run back up the entranceway, which in theory means they're running back to Abaddon. But you didn't book Abaddon for the show, so she's not here, so it's just her music. And they run off as Ian doesn't even get to say happy wrestling. Because apparently somehow you're running late on your own internet TV show and you're somehow running late. Like, what on God's great earth was the end of this show?
I don't know. But you hit all the points. No Billy Starks in sight. Nothing but, you know, Lady Frost putting in her moves and Athena delivering, and itself not being a terrible match. But the moment that Abaddon's music hit, right, it was like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. Like, all of a sudden we're like playing a cartoon game. And I mean, I if we're gonna utilize Lexi Nair with her, you know, with being chained to the ring and using it to, like, get opponents, go for that.
Yeah.
But
that was cool. I liked that portion of this, like using it to have Lady Frost run into it. While makes Lady Frost look stupid, I think it's great. But, like, I would have wished if Abaddon would have been there. Like, she didn't have to get Lex. She didn't have to get Athena. But you had to make the thing more than just her music play.
Agreed.
Like, if they had escaped through the crowd, it would have been great. Because you don't need to see Abaddon at that point. They just get away. They hear the music, she runs, she gets away. That's all you needed. But apparently you can't go through the crowd, and you had to run them up the ramp again. And it's just like, oh. And again, this is another proving grounds match where nothing is proven, and Lady Frost has a really halfway decent showing, but still is not in contention for Athena's championship, isn't in contention for Red Velvet's championship. And we're doing Red Velvet versus Mercedes Moné at some point, I believe. Or that match already happened, one of the two. You know, they teased it. I don't know if it was at Wrestle Dream or close to Wrestle Dream, but didn't they tease Red Velvet versus Mercedes?
Moné?
Yeah, I thought so.
Red Velvet?
Didn't they have like a backstage segment at one point during one of these shows where her and Mercedes did something? I think they were setting up a match.
I mean, Queen Aminata just had a match with Mercedes.
Queen Aminata. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm confusing Queen Aminata and Red Velvet. Then.
Wow. I mean, they are best friends, so.
They are best friends and stuff like that.
That's I'm confused. Well, I mean, all in all, this show was not terrible.
No, it's better than some of the ones that you guys have talked about.
Definitely was better than some, but all in all, Ed, does this make you want to watch Ring of Honor more, less, the same? Tell me about it.
The same. Like, again, I didn't get to see enough of the Ring of Honor talent, wrestling Ring of Honor talent, and I think that's what would sell this product is is doing that. And I don't want to hurt the local talents who end up getting more bookings because of this, and I don't want them to not book these people.
Agreed.
But you have so many talented people on your roster that you're not using. And it's starting to get ridiculous.
I agree.
You can tell more compelling stories and do better storytelling going into the pay-per-views that you don't have if you book the talent that works for the company as opposed to constantly booking enhancement matches.
I want something more for Ring of Honor. We talk about such a great history, but it's not going anywhere. So
we're 86 episodes in, and I don't feel like it has any identity. And I hate to make this comparison because so many people hate it. It feels like WWECW. It's a mockery of the program that we all love and know, made by a third-party company who wants the TV rights that can't pull the trigger on making it the bigger deal that it needs to be. And it didn't. I mean, STG says, has it lost its identity since Tony purchased it or before it? It lost its identity when it lost the Elite. When it lost that core group of talent that was running Ring of Honor at that time, that's where it kind of lost its luster. That's where it kind of fell off a cliff. But you have all those people here in AEW. There are so many people in AEW that love Ring of Honor. Tony grew up watching it. All of these people grew up, wrestling in it. There can't be a way to not revive this product in a positive way. And you wonder why you can't get a TV deal for this, Tony. You wonder why you can't get a TV deal. And it's because you book your ROH talent on AEW television, and you don't book the big matches on Ring of Honor. You book it on AEW. We're getting Ladder Wars. You know what Ladder War would be great with? To build to a great show on Honor Club that everybody's going to want to watch. Now, granted, nobody's going to want to watch it because Jericho's in it. But you get my point.
Agreed. Absolutely. I think you're 100% on the money, but I don't know how to change it now.
I think it means that Tony has to let go and give it to Nigel. Give it to Brian. Give it back to fucking Delirious.
No, can we not do that?
I don't know how problematic Delirious might be, but at least he was booking good Ring of Honor shows when he was booking it.
I mean, sure.
STG, I hate when Ed makes sense.
I do too, because it does make sense, but all right. Well,
thank you for letting me come here and make you laugh and be Kimmy for a week.
I don't have a banner for you.
We have it on the Taking Over side. Eternal power. You can find me on Twitter at EdFries12584. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/EdFries2002. We've got Halloween Havoc coming up this week, so you'll be seeing Astrid and I 3 times over the course of the next week, as we'll be doing Taking Over on Tuesday. We'll have a preview show at some point before Halloween Havoc, and right after Halloween Havoc is over on Sunday, we'll be having a post show. We have 2 wonderful guests lined up. Robert from Fightful Writing, the writing side of Fightful, is going to be joining us for our pre-show. That will be a pre-recorded show, so catch that at some point. One of us will try to be in the chat, but go ahead and leave your comments in the live chat. Go ahead and leave your comments in the video after the fact with all your predictions for Halloween Havoc once the card is finalized this week on the show.
I'm going to send you mine.
Awesome. And you can go ahead and catch me, Kimmy Sokol, Auntie Collins, Bobby Munson, and Papa Smokes on Halloween night as I am going to be Quizmaster extraordinaire for What the Fuck Do We Know About Wrestling Trivia. And we have a Halloween theme. All of them are following one specific Halloween theme that I will announce after the end of the first question because it'll be obvious after that. But it is taking on a Halloween type theme. And again, we'll have more of that.
Are we dressing up?
You can if you want to. I don't think Papa Smokes is going to. Bobby Munson will probably be Terror Lord like he was on the Terrifier 3 review that he and Astrid did last night, which you can catch on the YouTube channel. I will not be dressing up. I'll be just getting back from watching my daughter go ahead and do some Halloween stuff.
Oh, you're such a good dad. Well, I'll be there. I'm excited. I'm mostly excited to not...
No, the audience doesn't ask questions. They get to answer the questions, SGG.
I'm excited to not cover Twitter. What am I saying? Ring of Honor that night. I don't know. That sounds so silly. This is a Ring of Honor show. Hi, I'm Auntie Collins. Follow me. I'm sorry. I'm blubbering on and on and on about my life, but you can follow me on all social media. I'll probably be off X. I'm probably not going to come back to it. I probably should update that with my Blue Sky because you can find me at Blue Sky with Queer Auntie. That's who I am across all social media. If there's an underscore, there might be an underscore. I don't know. Also, Twitch doesn't like underscores, so I'm there too. But I'm gonna be dog sitting this weekend. So find me in places where there's social media, and I'll probably be there. Guess what? Over on TikTok, I got this is my second time working with a clothing brand called Halara, which many people who have been offered ads know who they are. I was skeptical because obviously I am a plus size queen over here, and they haven't been as plus size accommodating. But oh my god, the things that they came out recently, a corduroy mini skirt with shorts built underneath. And my Pixar mom butt doesn't show. Sold. So go over there, support Auntie, leaving the corporate world, and maybe, I don't know, watch some of my ads. I'm doing
or else. We have to do the
or else. I would love to be an influencer.
I think we did that tonight. We did never.
Oh my god! Or else. Join us every week here. This is our local establishment. Hello, hi, you're welcome. Like, share, subscribe. Wait. Like, share, subscribe. Wait, like, subscribe.
Share.
I'm not drunk. I'm just tired. This.
You're tired. It's not at 9 o'clock your time.
I know. I'm ready for bed. Let's go. It's our local establishment. Like it, or else. So.
We have content almost every day. You can find any wrestling company that you like. We pretty much cover. We've got also next week, Astrid will be doing review with Mark Talks Wrestling about Bound for Glory. Me and Astrid are going to be joining Jose on the air to preview Bound for Glory, which will be fun because that's another wrestling show that I don't watch on a week-to-week basis. And I'm going to be talking about a pay-per-view that they're covering. So, yay!
Yay! Absolutely. Love everything. Love all of you. Y'all, thank you for showing up. Showing out. Y'all are beautiful. I love your faces. See you back here next week. And I'll see you around the wrestling.
Happy wrestling.
Happy wrestling. Okay, bye.